It might finally be game over for the former crypto billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried as his girlfriend, former girlfriend, turns on him and his co-founder turns on him into the SEC investigation. And the exact day that Sam got arrested, he was on Twitter Spaces saying how he doesn't think he's going to get arrested. And then this happened. So there was a lot of quiet talk going on, probably from the government and these agencies working together to not spook him, to get him to go to Dubai or something where they don't have an extradition treaty. So even though there was outrage on the internet of people saying how this should be done faster and they need to arrest him, they do need to compile the evidence and do it in a way that it wouldn't scare Sam into fleeing to a different country that they couldn't get him out of. But that is what came out right here, saying confirmed that Caroline rolled on SBF. That's supposed to be. The SEC charged Caroline Ellison and Bexio Gary Wang for their roles in a multi-year scheme to defraud equity investors in FTX. SEC said Ellison and Wang are cooperating with the ongoing investigation. So that's a big turnaround for Sam. Probably didn't expect his former, or I guess ex-girlfriend and his co-founder of FTX to turn on him and start to plead with the government for a lighter sentence on themselves and throw all the dirt on Sam. But it also probably didn't help that Sam, throughout all of these Twitter Spaces and his media tour, was blaming Alameda Research and Caroline, saying like, it's all their fault. Don't look at me, it's all their fault. Which probably sparked her to say, you know what? It's all his fault. And I'm going to go ahead and throw everything out on him to get a lighter sentence for herself. You can see some of the charges here. This is one article talking about it, saying, you know, Caroline Ellison and Gary Wang pled guilty to the DOJ of their fraud charges and settled with the SEC and everyone. And right here, says the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission and Commodity Futures Trading Commission also announced charges against the two, saying Ellison manipulated the price of FTT, and the duo are cooperating with investigators. So that's pretty clear. I mean, we all know Alameda was the backbone of the whole thing and market making at FTX, front running customers, not only doing that, but also making sure that the price of FTT stayed up there so they could have basically an unlimited credit line or an unlimited way to borrow money. And these agencies aren't going light either. There's a quote here saying, if you participated in misconduct at FTX or Alameda, now is the time to get ahead of it. We are moving quickly and our patience is not eternal. So basically saying, if you had anything to do with FTX and Alameda and you know things that went wrong on there and you were in on some sort of the fraud, you should come out and help the SEC with its investigation, probably of Sam, and maybe you'll help yourself and get less time or be able to actually ease your sentence by doing that. But even though all this is stacking up against Sam, you can see right here, the FTX founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, to be released on $250 million bail to live with his parents, which is crazy because he did say he only had $100,000 to his name. So how did he come up with $25 million for bail? That's how that works for a $250 million bail. Any bail, you only have to come up with 10% of whatever to get bailed out. That's just how bail works. But this is kind of the stipulations here, saying in addition to the $250 million package, the bail, which prosecutors called the largest ever pretrial bond, the former crypto billionaire would also be required to wear an electronic monitoring bracelet, submit to mental health counseling, and restrict himself travel within and between the Northern District of California and the Southern and Eastern Districts of New York. So basically, you can't leave the country, have to stay in the United States, have to check in for mental health things, probably wanting to make sure that he doesn't do something to himself before they can do any trial or put him on trial for anything, and an electronic monitoring bracelet so they can know where he is at all times and make sure that he doesn't leave the country. Because after all, I would imagine that someone like Sam would be an extreme flight risk. And even though he says in this interview that he only has $100,000 to his name, I'm sure there's a Bitcoin wallet or a crypto wallet where he has millions and millions of dollars stacked up. And that's something to be worried about. And they obviously should be worried about because they're making sure he doesn't leave the country. The last thing anyone would want is for him to be on the run, go to a country like Dubai or a place like Dubai, and all of a sudden have hundreds of millions of dollars in crypto that now he can do whatever he wants. And a couple more of the restrictions right here. The FTX CEO is also barred from opening any new lines of credit of more than $1,000 while awaiting trial over what federal regulators have called a brazen fraud at his bankrupt crypto empire. They should probably just say don't open any lines of credit. I don't know why he would even open or need $1,000 line of credit, but interesting there. And this is the talking about his $100,000 he claimed to only have, saying Bankman-Fried had previously claimed he was down to a mere $100,000, a steep fall from grace from a man who was once at the head of a $32 billion crypto empire. So that seems to be some sort of lie. I think for this bond, for the $250 million bond, it was his parents put up a house or one of their houses, and they had enough equity in it of like 25 million to make bond or cash plus the equity. They had some sort of combination where they actually had that type of money to make the bond, which actually means that FTX customers paid for Sam's bond, because obviously any of that money that the parents got from Sam was from FTX, which was just the customer's money. So that is kind of ridiculous that even right now, even after everything going on with FTX, the customers of FTX who had their money stolen are ended up paying for Sam's bond. And just to compare that to a couple of the other bonds from fraudsters before, you can see Bankman-Fried's bail dwarfs other federal white-collar bonds. Bernie Madoff posted a $10 million bond while awaiting trial on his multi-billion-dollar Ponzi scheme. Jeff Skilling, former Enron CEO, had a $5 million bond, and Elizabeth Holmes posted a $500,000 bond. So that would put SBF at the top of this list. Bernie Madoff would have had a $100 million bail because you only do 10%. So posting $10 million means it was a $100 million bail or bond, bail, whatever you want to call it. The Enron CEO had a $50 million bail, and then Elizabeth Holmes had a $5 million bail. And those are all drastically dwarfed by SBF's right here, $250 million bail, which honestly, maybe they shouldn't have even done any bail and just not allowed him, because he's probably way too much of a flight risk to have a bail, to be roaming around anywhere. Even if you try and monitor him, all it takes a little bit of a slip up and he's able to get to somewhere where he has to have millions of dollars in a crypto wallet. He's got to have money somewhere. You know, he's not dumb. He puts on this role of being, oh, I'm so dumb, just a stupid kid that ran a multi-billion-dollar business. He's not dumb. He knows what he's doing. And what would be interesting to see all of this play out from Sam is something like this right here, which this was tweeted from Mike Alfred a little over a month ago, but saying if SBF is prosecuted in the US, he will likely flip and provide incriminating information on Tether, Bitfinex, and Binance to the authorities in order to receive a lesser sentence. This information has the potential to demolish what remains of the crypto industry. Hold on tight. Which absolutely that could happen, right? If Sam has dirt on CZ and Binance and Tether and all these different kind of big players in the crypto space, and from his side, he thinks Binance deliberately took down FTX, maybe he goes in and says, I will tell you everything I know on these different companies for a lighter sentence, and maybe it flips off something in the US and US regulators to go after these companies. Obviously not a guarantee, a lot of speculation. Who knows what could happen from this? If there is any dirt there or not, no one knows. It's all people just thinking and speculating, but wouldn't that be an insane move for Binance to cause the catalyst to really take down FTX, and then Sam, in the midst of being taken down, kicks off a catalyst to try and take down Binance. So we'll get to see it all play out, see where all this goes, and if anything comes out of, you know, Sam kind of talking on other people in the crypto world. But for right now, it's kind of just entertainment, and hopefully Sam doesn't run away or able to escape anything, because that would be probably the worst case scenario. But that's gonna do it for this video. Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. I still don't know exactly what to put here for this outro, but I'll see you in my next video.